As you walk through the valley of the shadow of hell, you will realize that there is something ahead. Something that lurks behind the dark veil. A veil that is beyond our own comprehension. Beyond the void.
What's up, guys, and welcome back to Beyond the Void
Horror Podcast.
That's right, we're back for episode 140, and today we're going to be talking about the brand new evil Superman movie called
Brightburn.
That's right. So, for those of you who haven't seen it, don't worry. We are going to do our spoiler-free review first, so we won't spoil anything in our review of that. And then afterwards, for those of you who have seen the movie, we will get into our spoiler section and kind of break down some of the things why we think it's good or not good, depending on, how it goes. So, you'll want to stick around for that. I have a little bit of trivia, but nothing too much. But how have you been, Brittany? How are things going with you?
Great.
Great.
Great. Like, is Tony the Tiger still a thing?
Yes, I think so, but I don't know if he does that anymore.
Oh, why not?
Copyright.
It's his whole fucking staple.
I don't know. I have no idea. I grew up hearing that, but I don't know.
It's great.
But you've been doing anything cool over this weekend?
I don't know what the fuck I'm doing this weekend.
We're recording on Saturday, by the way, guys, so which is like 2 days later than we normally do, and earlier, because we're doing this at like 11 in the morning. So I've been up. I slept 10 fucking hours in a row. Unshaken
10 consecutive
sleep.
Hours.
Yeah, like this is like fucking like uncharted territory. I forgot what this was like. I feel like I have like so much energy. Like yesterday I was just completely exhausted. I've been getting up, going to and hanging out and doing stuff, making videos and stuff like that for the podcast and stuff. I just actually, by the way, guys, I'll have a video up for some of the gameplay of this horror game we played coming up it'll be on Saturday behind you guys. So this comes out on Monday. It will have already aired 2 days before. So yeah, check it out if you haven't already seen it. It's got some of my new buddies in there. Tryhard from last episode is in it, and also our buddy Jex. So you want to check that out. Anyway, so you haven't really done anything, really? Nothing?
Just a lot.
You say that, but then I see your post and you're like, I just flew to Egypt. No big deal.
I fucking wish. That'd be fucking awesome.
John was saying that. He's like, because I mentioned, he's like, Brittany always says she doesn't do anything. And then I go to her fucking Facebook and it's like she's posted pictures from like across the world.
I have not been across the world. I've been to like California.
You know what I mean? Like he's like, shit, if she's not been doing anything, then my life is fucking shit.
I just work a lot and then
she forgets everything.
I do. I drink a lot of Jack Daniels.
Yeah, see, that's what does it.
And I also just don't commit a lot of things to memory.
Yeah.
To be fair, I don't know. There's only so much room up there. Like, I got to remember, like, good things. So, normal things that happen on, like, a daily or weekly basis, I'm just like, meh.
Yeah. No, I mean,
a lot of, like, performing and stuff. Like, we've had a lot of,
which is cool, though. I mean, you get to have, like, experiences.
Yeah, we've had a lot of out-of-town stuff. We have more out-of-town stuff coming up. A couple different, like, horror conventions, I think, that we're booked for to perform. So that's pretty cool. But yeah, it's been an adventure.
Well, I'm glad that you had some fun out and about, doing a lot more than me. I'm definitely not going anywhere. So, I mean, that's I'm pretty much a shut-in at this point in time. But I've been doing a lot online and stuff. So, you know, it's not like I just sit here. You know what I mean? Like I'm actually sitting here and actually working. So
dope.
It's just not as extravagant as your lifestyle, I guess, anymore.
I don't really call my lifestyle extravagant.
Well, it is for someone that doesn't do much outside of the house.
Mostly not. It's just a lot of chaos and makeup.
Hatred.
And a lot of hatred. A lot of anger. Bottled up inside.
All right, well, I think it might be that time, Brittany.
What time is it?
Horrorshots! All right, guys, so since we're going to be reviewing the Evil Superman, a.k.a. Brightburn movie, which is actually the name of the town, by the way, guys.
Yeah.
Just so you know. Which I don't know why they decided to call it that. Maybe they just couldn't think of a different name. I don't know. But this drink that we're going to be taking is called a Super Evil Kool-Aid. And what it's in any Super Evil...
That.
A Super Evil Kool-Aid?
All of that.
All of that.
All of
Just
that.
a lot of jumbled mess.
I don't know.
It's a lot of bad decisions in life.
Turkey noises.
So what we decided to do is we figured we'd add some like themey things. Since the color of the movie is pretty much red, that seems to be in all the trailers and everything. And we're not going to spoil anything, so don't worry. We're actually, in this drink, you're going to put 1/2 of Old Smoky's Moonshine Cherries liquor. And then you're going to take 1/4 of that strawberry Fanta because it's good.
I feel like we should use Faygo for this.
No, there's nobody's, not everybody can get Faygo. So. Oh, God.
I'm sure they can in Kansas.
So you got 1/2 Old Smoky's Moonshine Cherries liquor, 1/4 strawberry Fanta, and then 1/4 for just a little bit of the spicy kick of Fireball.
That's accurate for Fireball.
I think it would taste pretty good too because it's
it
like
sounds good. I'd drink it at a
I
party.
would drink the shit out of this. You know what I mean? And it's not no pussy drink. All right, so
I drink a whole lot of it because it tastes so good, and then end up really fucking
I
shit
hate
house
Fireball
real
though.
fast.
Blech.
I can do it if it's mixed and stuff. I just don't like it by itself anymore.
Because of this show, I think I've grown a little more accustomed to it because like we've used it in a lot of different stuff. But
Well,
this
it works so well.
yeah.
It's one of the only like cinnamony liquors that's not horribly disgusting.
Right. And
I
I
like
think
that circusy one though.
if you do this one, guys, by the way, all you have to do is probably just shake it up in some ice so that it's cooled because I think it would taste best
Cooled.
in cooled,
Chilled, Tastes
whatever.
Best chilled.
Chill it, put it in your fucking shots, and then before you drink, you got to make sure you do this because this is like the most important ingredient of a Super Evil Kool-Aid. Is basically you're gonna stick your hand in a fucking lawnmower and yeah.
Scream.
Scream.
A whole lot.
Yeah.
If
And
you
use
don't
your
have-
other hand to drink it.
If you don't have access to a lawnmower or disposal in your kitchen, will also work.
Yeah. Don't do any of that, by the way.
Do all of the things.
It's and not that any kids can access alcohol anyway, but don't even think about it, all right?
Name yourselves in every way possible. For the love of horror.
But that's the Super Evil Kool-Aid. So if you guys would love to try a Super Evil Kool-Aid, all you have to do is go to longlivethevoid.com and check out our hashtag Horrorshots section now. That's it for Horrorshots.
Horrorshots!
All right, guys. So now what we're going to do is jump into our spoiler-free review of Brightburn. So don't worry. For those of you who want to stick around, we will be doing the spoilers after that with full warning, so you don't have to worry about it. We're always really good about that. But without further ado, let's jump into our spoiler-free review of Brightburn.
Right now.
All right, guys, so we're back, and we're going to jump into our spoiler-free review now. First of all, we're going to tell you what this movie, who made it, basically, and who's in it. The movie Brightburn came out, of course, this year, 2019. The story is, what if a child from another world crash-landed on Earth, but instead of becoming a superhero to mankind, he proved to be something far more sinister? Well, that's Brightburn in a nutshell, pretty much. So this movie was directed by David Yarovsky. He is the director of the movie The Hive, which is kind of an indie film that is pretty cool, actually. I really enjoyed it. They got a lot of black spitting of blood and infection shit. He also did the Guardians of the Galaxy Inferno thing that was in, I think it was in the extras of the Guardians of the Galaxy. He also played Goth Ravager in Guardians of the Galaxy as well. Plus, of course, he directed this movie. So, This movie was written and directed by Brian and Mark Gunn, who are obviously related to James Gunn, who was also producing this movie. Now, Brian Gunn has actually done a few things himself, including Jupiter's Legacy, PG Porn, The Specials. He also did Together, which was like I think it's like some comedy stuff. He also did Journey to the Mysterious Island with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Dope.
Also, Mark Gunn also worked on that movie with him. He also worked together on Together. It's too much. He also helped write Bring It On Again, the sequel to Bring It On, and a few other things, but they're relatively newer to the scene, but they're no stranger to it. Obviously, James Gunn really pushed this pretty hard, so other than that, though, we do have a pretty decent cast. Do you want to go ahead?
Sure. So this movie actually does have a pretty good cast. The first person I'm going to talk about is Elizabeth Banks, who plays Tori Breyer, which is the mom. She's probably most well known for her role as Effie in the Hunger Games trilogy. Mm-hmm. She was also in Our Idiot Brother, Role Models, which is one of my favorite movies. Just a side note. She's in Pitch Perfect.
She was in that Shaft movie.
She's in The 40-Year-Old Virgin. I forgot about that.
Catch Me If You Can.
She's in Slither.
Yes.
So Slither.
James Gunn movie, by the way. So
yeah, Zach and Miri Make a Porno.
The Uninvited.
The Uninvited. The list goes on and on, guys. She's in a lot of shit. She's one of those people that's very recognizable. It also stars David Denman, who plays Kyle Breyer, or the dad. He is from 13 Hours, The Gift, Outcast.
He was in Out Cold too, which is like an old shitty comedy from the from 2000.
Oh my god, I forgot about that movie.
Yeah, that was kind
Holy
of funny.
shit, you're right, he is in that.
He was in Big Fish.
Big Fish. He's in The Perfect Husband, the Lacey Peterson story. He's in Night Stalker, the TV series.
The horror movie remake of Shudder.
Oh fuck, you're right.
Which I think was like something The Eye in Korea.
He's also Chaz in Fanboys from 2009. That movie's hilarious.
He's highly recognizable too.
He is. He's also one of those people that like you look at him and he's that guy. I think though.
Right.
You don't remember his name right off the top of your head, but you're like, I know that guy.
He's comfy.
Guy.
He's like one of those comfy people that you kind of know.
He
was in that show Outcast. You said that, right?
Yeah. It also stars Jackson A. Dunn, who plays Brandon Breyer, who is our fucking evil-ass Superman himself. He's in Avengers Endgame, Get Shorty, Glow, Colony, and Shameless, and he was in a TV series documentary called Killer Kids. He was one of the actors for, he played young Jesse Ernst, actually, which that's a really cool little mini documentary series if anyone's ever seen that. Mm-hmm. That's into like serial killer shit. I recommend it. It's really good. It also has Matt Jones, who plays Noah McNichol. I didn't know that was their last name. It's kind of hilarious.
Wait, Matt Jones? Which one's he?
McNichol. He's Noah.
Oh, yeah. He was in Breaking Bad.
I know him from Mom.
Dude, he was.
I've never seen Breaking Bad.
Oh, God, dude. That's where he got his big career start.
Is it?
Like, that's where it blew up for him. Because he's like, I think his name was not Beaver. It was like Gopher or something. Fuck, I can't remember his name.
Oh, he's in How I Met Your Mother,
Some
too.
goddamn marmot.
I'll find out. Hang on. He's in an episode. He's a weed guy in Key and Peele. Accurate. But I know him from the TV show Mom. He plays Badger in Breaking Bad.
Badger, that's what it is.
He was in 12 episodes from 2008 to 2013.
That's how I know him.
He's in Beware the Batman TV series from 2013 to 2014. And a bunch of other stuff. He's primarily more of like a TV actor.
Right.
But I like him. He's one of those people that has a face that you recognize too.
He's a likable guy.
He is. Kind of funny that he plays a weed guy most of the time because that's accurate as shit.
Yeah.
It also stars Meredith Hagner, who plays Marilee McNichol, who is the boy's aunt.
Right.
/ guidance counselor, which is weird as fuck. She's from The Following TV series. She was in one episode of that, which is really fucking good, by the way.
Well, the first season was until the end, and then it got kind of weird. The Following.
I like
That's what we always called it. The Following. Sorry, guys. I know it's annoying.
She's in the TV show Veep. She was in Ingrid Goes West, which is a really good movie. Mm-hmm. And another film called The Oath. She hasn't done a whole lot of things, but, it's a lot of TV series stuff, a lot of TV actors.
Also, guys, this movie was made on a budget of $6 million, which is actually pretty good.
$6 million?
Yeah. I think they did a really good job for that, for $6 million. We don't know what the box office is at the current moment. I think it's like 3.8 million since last night, but that, you know what I mean? Like, I don't know. We will find out on Monday, technically. So
Yeah, they'll at the very least break even with this.
yeah, I think it's definitely, it actually released in Hungary on the 9th, so instead of here, which is the 24th, which is weird too. So, but yeah, so what'd you think, Brittany? What'd you think of the?
I want to know your thoughts first.
Oh, you want me to do mine? Okay, all right. Well, I'll just say this right up front. I really actually do like this movie a lot, but I have a few issues with it. You know what I mean? So it's not that I don't think it's a good movie or anything like that. So obviously, if you're looking for a scenario in which Superman wasn't a beacon of hope and decency and turned evil, well, then, you know, this is the movie for you, obviously. I think that Brightburn does what it sets out to do. And I think it does it pretty well. Like, it's actually a good movie. I think it's dark as fuck. I think the role of Brandon Byers, who is played by Jackson Dunn, did a really good job. With a character like that, they always want to make you feel like for him. And then also, you know, how he pretty much plays two different roles in a way. You know what I mean? I would probably give kudos to pretty much everybody involved in this movie, including the acting, the writing. But does this movie go where you want it to go? I think the answer to that is yes and no. Like, it does go where you think it will, but it also made me want to see a hell of a lot more. So there is a lot of focus put on the relationships in this movie, obviously with the kid and his family, his mom and his dad, and some of the people around him, and like his falling from grace, you know, before he becomes a superhero, or rather a supervillain, which I think it's a very important part of this movie, you know, developing those relationships so that when they break, it really is jarring, and I think it certainly pulls it off in this movie. So, however, I can't help but want a hell of a lot more, like I mentioned. Sure, it definitely had a lot of gore and violence that you wanted from an evil Superman boy. Those in the vein of an evil Superman. So, I thought those were really cool. I won't say what they are, obviously, which I personally loved. I just wanted to see it fully unleashed, though, and I feel like this movie didn't unleash as much as I really wanted it to. And maybe it's because of the budget that they couldn't go, you know, ape shit. And they maybe felt like it was a little bit of a risk. I don't know. But, you know, I guess I kind of wanted it to go like the way of Akira. You know, have you ever seen Akira? It's like a Japanese futuristic movie about this kid who, and like these psychics and all this crazy shit. And he starts like, his body starts changing and he starts getting out of control with all these powers and like wreaking havoc on the earth until it's like this big crater in the side of the planet.
Sweet.
You know what I mean? Which they are going to be doing a Akira fucking live action movie that Leonardo DiCaprio is producing, and Taika Waititi is going to be doing it. So maybe we'll get that fill then. But for this movie, this one's a little bit more quaint, you know? And it's a little bit more personal than perhaps I was expecting, which is fine. I wanted that in there. But I also felt like this one, while it has 3 acts, you know, the first act to explain, set it up, 2, the changes, and 3, you know, where it lets loose, I wanted it to be like a bulkier third act. And you know what I mean? So it doesn't mean it's a bad movie, by the way, guys. Like, I definitely really enjoy this movie. It means that maybe I've been spoiled by seeing too many movies in the past decade that push the boundaries in this kind of world. You know what I mean? Because we have the technology to do so much more now than we ever had before. And maybe my expectations are not met, or it's just a little too on the nose of what you would expect. It might be just a little too typical for most people. Like, it didn't like take me out of my own imagination and double it. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I kind of expected where this was going to go. It's really hard for me to kind of explain this without going into spoilers. So if you've seen the movie, I'll definitely get into it a little bit more there. But I think this is definitely something that has some really great scenes to it, and it certainly makes you question whether or not our upbringing really matters, or are we destined to be evil given the right circumstances. And I think that's the moral I guess. I don't think they were trying to make a point necessarily. They were just trying to make an evil Superman boy movie. But I definitely love the gore. It's pretty on point. Some rather dark scenes involving the cast meeting their ends. Really bloody. I even was surprised that they got away with a lot of the stuff that they did, you know. It is a rated R movie, though.
Yeah, that's why I think I thought it was going to be more than it was. Kind of expected it to push the boundaries a little bit more because it's rated R, but, you know, I don't know. Like, I don't understand the rating systems here and, like, why they're allowed to get away with certain things when other movies aren't.
Right.
Because I've seen more in other films. So I don't know. I expected a little bit more blood and violence and
yeah, I definitely there is no cap on how much is too much for me.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that is true, and I think this did it tastefully for a more mainstream audience while
it did.
Still feeding you like some nice little treats along the way,
right?
Which was good. And the one that was in the trailer, I won't say what it is. Oh God, I had to turn away.
Really?
Like I just anything with eyes or nails or teeth. I
was like on the edge of my seat, like, yes, bitch.
Oh,
yes, bitch. Like, do it.
But to close it up, I mean, I guess I just wanted to see more in this movie. I have to wonder, you know, if this movie will do well enough to warrant any kind of sequel, you know, to fill those kind of pockets for my imagination that I was hoping for. But, you know, the backstory is actually pretty interesting, and I would really like to know why he, you know, ended up there. And, you know, they kind of allude to some of the stuff in the movie. You know, am I being cryptic enough, guys? I hope so. Anyway, but I think if you're looking for an evil Superman movie, boy, going ham on people, you'll get more than enough. You know, it's a great meal, but I'm still hungry. You know what I mean? And for that reason, I'd say that this movie is probably like a 7.5, maybe an 8. Somewhere 7.5 feels right to me. I'd have to see it again to really know, but it's not that it's not a good movie. It's just it didn't really push the boundaries like we've been talking about, and I think it should have pushed a little bit more. In some ways, it did it in spades, and in other ways, it just fell a little short. You know, but it did exactly what I expected it to do. So. Just didn't push and exceed my expectations, so it's still a good movie, and I'm definitely going to buy this on Blu-ray when it fucking comes out, so don't think for a second that I'm trying to shit on this movie. I just, you know, unfortunately, expectations come into play when you think of a movie about an evil fucking Superman boy. Am I wrong?
No.
Okay, well, what did you think? I mean, I obviously got an idea, sort of, but...
So, I agree with you in a lot of senses. First and foremost, I'm not a big superhero movie person.
Right. If
it's not Batman, I pretty much don't give a shit.
Okay. Yeah, you haven't watched any of the Marvel movies.
No, I don't care.
Yeah.
Sorry. Like, it's not something that I'm interested in. I'll watch them eventually, I'm sure, because I know they get good, they get dark, and that's the kind of things that I'm interested in.
Sure.
And I mean, it's funny because the only one I've seen of like those Marvel movies is Black Panther.
Yeah, which is funny because I'm like, did you ever watch any of the other ones? You were like, no. Nope. And I'm like, what the fuck,
like, why'd you see this? And I'm like, because it's fucking amazing. That's why I saw it. Like, it looked incredible, so I watched it. But give me an evil fucking superhero, and I am totally on board. I don't give a shit if the story is fucking dumb, like The Crow.
Yeah.
Because The Crow is kind of stupid, but it's also amazing.
The Crow? Oh, yeah.
He's kind of a superhero in a way, if you think about it.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
So, but like, I kind of think a lot of the story with that is just...
Well, that's all very 90s, so...
Yeah, but they're remaking that, and I'm nervous about it, but...
Isn't Jason Momoa playing him?
That's what I've heard,
yeah.
And so I'm in for that reason.
I wouldn't compare it to the two, but I see what you're going with.
Yeah. No, that's what I'm saying. Like, even though like the backstory is maybe not the most like interesting idea, like...
For this kid?
No, any type of, like, I'm just saying give me an evil fucking superhero movie. Mm-hmm. I don't necessarily care what the backstory is around it. I just, like, I want to see it because
you just want to see mayhem.
Something different. Like, and he is essentially just a super villain, which is fine. But I like the fact that they kind of make this, what if Superman was evil instead of good?
Right.
It's very similar to like Superman's backstory. Like, it's very Clark Kent.
Oh yeah, they definitely mirrored it in a lot of ways.
It's very, very similar.
They even did that whole mailbox scene.
Yeah.
In the beginning, which I'm not really spoiling anything, but it's supposed to kind of represent like the comics, I think.
Absolutely, and it's like I don't know a whole lot, but I know enough about Superman to know that like that's very Clark Kent like, and I've seen like Smallville, like the TV show that I've seen a couple episodes of that show, and it's what it reminds me of a lot. It's very, very much like on the point with Superman, but he's like a fucking demon child. It's weird as shit. Like, I don't know. What sold me on this movie was when you watch the trailer, which I will give them a lot of kudos because they didn't spoil a whole lot in the trailers with this movie.
Oh, I thought they did for sure.
The one scene
I felt like the whole movie's in the trailer.
That in some parts, yeah, but then there's a lot of stuff that's not in it that I was happy. Did they do enough to like really draw you in and make you really excited about it? But that might be what left me feeling like I fell a little short.
Dude, they showed the fucking end of the movie in the goddamn trailer.
Oh, I don't
that
remember that.
pissed me off. I was like, really? This is really unfulfilling right now.
Oh, I don't even remember that.
Yeah, I can't say until the spoiler, but I'll bring it up when we do.
I don't know. He's just such a fucking creepy little thing. I love his character, like how he builds his little costume and stuff. Like, he's so fucking terrifying. I can't even imagine trying to face a fucking like
kid like that,
kid or whatever, superhero villain, whatever the fuck he is.
Right.
Like, I can't imagine trying to face something like that. I love the fact that the Gunn brothers have created this entire universe now. Like, they've basically created their own superhero villain universe.
Sure.
Essentially. Like, they've opened the door to continue doing so.
Yeah.
Especially how they, left the movie. And we don't know necessarily what his kryptonite is.
Yeah, we do.
We think we do. Like, we think we do. We have an idea, but, like...
They could expand on the story a lot more. Let's put
who's
it
going
that
to
way.
figure that out?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like...
Honestly, I really don't think anybody could fucking spoil this movie because, like, if you've seen the trailer, in my opinion, you've pretty much seen the most of the movie, in my opinion. But you say otherwise. But I felt like the trailer really ruined the movie. Maybe because they wanted to have all the cool parts in the fucking trailer.
Yeah, I mean, it made some stuff have less of an impact. That's for sure.
Nothing was shocking to me. Like, it all felt like it was the same. They would just kind of like, they would show like parts in the trailer that they didn't, and they filled in the pox in the movie. It was like, oh, well, that's why they did that in the trailer. That's what I kept thinking. Anyway.
Yeah. I liked what I did like was the character development in this, even though my biggest gripe about this whole movie is that it was too short. I felt it was way too short. An hour and a half is not fucking long enough for something like this. You're creating a fucking brand new character.
Yeah.
This is not enough time to do that in order to do it right. You know what I mean?
Could have been a 2 hour, 10-minute movie.
Easily.
Yeah.
Easily. And I don't see, and I'm sure they probably had more and they had to cut stuff down for whatever reason. But that's my biggest issue is they didn't spend enough time, especially in the third act. Like, the third act is the best act of the entire movie for me, when this kid just goes fucking buck wild, and it's awesome. Mm-hmm. But there wasn't enough, like, even like midway through the second act to the third. Like, there's not enough there. It's not meaty enough. Like, I'm not getting enough out of it that I wanted. And I felt like I expected more from this, maybe just because the trailer got me so fucking hyped up. And this is why I always tell myself, like, to not get super fucking excited about movies, because I end up disappointed. And I hate that.
Sure.
I wasn't disappointed with this. I just was kind of left feeling like, okay.
Yeah, no, I mean, I definitely, I think a lot of people are going to be disappointed with this movie, with how picky.
A lot of the people in the theater didn't like it.
Yeah, I think with how picky the audience is these days, and like how everyone's pretty much a critic. No offense to anybody here, of course. I just think that they're going to probably, I haven't even looked at the scores yet. Matter of fact, let's look it up.
It's like a 6 and 6.6 or something like that.
I'm going to look it up because I'm curious. I don't even know.
In the middle.
Looks like right as it stands right now, it's at 59%.
That Rotten Tomatoes, right?
Right.
And then on IMDb, it's like 6.6 out of 10 or something like that.
Oh, IMDb's kind of all over the place. It's more of like a...
Yeah, like from what I've been reading, critics are like back and forth, like they either like it or they don't like it. A couple are very middle of the road.
Yeah.
Fans, like people watching it, I've
73% audience score on Rotten Tomatoes.
Seen a ton of fucking positive feedback from just people like us that have watched the movie and reviewed it.
Yeah.
And I mean, 9 and 10 scores of 9s and 10s and 9.5s. Like, it's just like everybody really likes it.
Sure.
And I get it because there's a lot to like about this movie.
Yeah, it definitely gave me what I wanted, but it didn't exceed what I wanted, which is what I think the movie needed to do.
Yeah, it's like I got what I wanted out of it, but I also, like you, felt like I wanted more. Like I was still left hungry at the end, which isn't necessarily a bad thing.
Yeah.
Because then it's going to be, people are going to want more.
And that's something that you guys really need to think about for anybody that wants to support stuff like this. If you like these kinds of ideas, it doesn't have to be perfect. It just needs to be supported so that these executives who are out there understand that this is what we want to see. So while we may be picky, I think it's important that you understand that they only think in dollars, and that's how they do it. Now, granted, this movie is $6 million, so it's probably gonna, meet it at least. But we got to support these kind of things if we want to see more. Now, something I want to ask you, being that this is technically a horror movie, being that it's a super evil Superman, what did you think about the horror elements in this? Did you ever feel uncomfortable? Did you think that it would be scary for other people?
I think normal people who aren't completely just desensitized by anything horror related are gonna be terrified.
You think that much?
Like a lot of people in the I can just hear it like in the theater, like people that are uncomfortable and nervous and are just like, or I see people that are covering their eyes and looking away from the screen. There's a couple scenes where I felt you know what I mean? Just kind of like the one that they in the trailer, the eye thing. Like I was like on the edge of my seat, wanting to look away, but also like I want to see it.
Sure, but I mean more of like with a movie like
but
this.
But they had jump scares. Is that what you're saying?
No, I mean like, is there a creep factor to it that makes,
I think so.
That pushes it like way into horror? Because for me, it felt very middle of the road, and it didn't feel like there are elements in the movie that were very stalkery,
his character is terrifying.
No, it is, but I just feel like they could have pushed that button a little bit harder. I had one of my buddies say that it was like compared to like Halloween and Superman, and or Evil Superman, and I'm like, I think they could have done more camera work, like in a slasher stalker kind of way. That could have been a little bit more.
Oh, there's a couple scenes in particular that I feel that way, and I like.
Sure,
that.
There are some in there, but I just feel like they played it a little too safe for the regular mainstream crowd.
They wrote a little more on like the superhero villain,
right?
Coattails.
Yeah, I don't think it's like. It is definitely a horror movie. I definitely agree that it is, but I feel like it could have pushed the horror button a little bit harder.
It could have, but I don't disagree with you on it. I just his character is fucking creepy. I'm sorry. If I looked out the fucking window and saw that shit,
sure,
and then all of a sudden it flies towards me super fast and busts through my fucking house, I'm freaking out.
Yeah, well, there's some scenes, and I'll explain in the spoilers that I think they could have done a little bit better.
It looks like a weird little mosquito monster with red glowy. It's creepy. And that's what I liked so much about. The feel of his character overall is awesome. Yeah. He feels very dark and dreadful and mean.
Right.
And
no,
evil,
definitely.
And just, he's like a fucking little demon. And it's crazy.
Well, and Jackson Dunn did a really good job.
He's good. Like, it's funny because I preferred him when he's like defiant, when he's starting to like realize what he is or who he is and what he can do.
Right.
I liked him better than when he was just like his normal self acting. You know what I mean?
So what do you think the overall thing is here? And then we'll get into spoilers so we can really dig into it.
To me, I would give this like an 8 out of 10.
Really?
So
okay.
I liked it. Like, and it's one of those, like, I kind of had to sit on it for a while and like sleep on it and like really think about it, and I talked about it a little bit last night, and after we saw it, I was like, I need to think about this. Like, I don't really know. Like, I kind of felt unsatisfied, but then also I was okay. Like, it hit all the buttons that I wanted it to hit.
Yeah.
But it just didn't go.
It didn't surprise me with anything, really.
Yeah, I agree. Like, I wasn't surprised. I saw everything happening. Like,
yeah, I knew
that before it was happening.
It was almost like, hey, let's just turn this one story into a darker story. And I feel like they should have pushed it a little bit further. And I'll explain what I think in the spoiler section.
Yeah,
but so you say 8, I said 7.5. I'm kind of wavering, so I'm somewhere between 7.5 and 8. But for me, a movie that does something a little bit more different would probably be a 9 or above.
Yeah, if they pushed the envelope a little bit more, it would be closer to a 9.
Yeah, I wasn't like elated when I saw this movie, but I enjoyed it. So maybe it is 7.5 for me. So
it's still like, I would say go see it.
Oh,
It's not something that I want to like deter anybody from going to see. Like,
No.
I think that this is definitely a theater movie. Go see it in a theater.
Yeah.
Like, unless you're like, I hate theaters, so I mean, I get it. If you're like me and you don't like going to the movie theater, it's fine. But go spend the fucking $8 or whatever.
It's not a horrible way to spend your time.
No, it's cool. It's gonna go
not
by
like-
real fast though. Just
Although I
be
will
aware.
say some people are going to be very, very, very particular. I mean, I had a buddy of mine who watches my streams who said that he wasn't even interested in the least to see it
Yeah.
because DC actually had, an evil Superman. And I never read any of those comics other than the fucking Injustice or whatever it was, which is like this mirrored world of Superman where he was actually evil. And there's comics on that, and they even have video games on that. Is it called Injustice? Yeah, Injustice. Yeah. There's a comic book series called Injustice, but I don't know very much about that. And he said that he didn't really want to see it because of that. So there might be a large portion of people who are just not very particular about that kind of thing.
Yeah, well, there are. So it's like any type of comic book like nerd, I guess is like the best way to say it.
Right.
And I don't mean it in an offensive way.
No.
But anybody who's really into superheroes and superhero comics and superhero everything,
They might not.
They might not like it, and that's fine. Like I've heard both sides. Like I've heard people that are big comic book nerds that are not stoked about this, and then people who are that are stoked about it.
Well,
so
in defense of this movie versus DC doing a fucking super evil man or evil Superman
evil
movie, in defense of this movie though, why is fucking DC dragging their feet on everything?
seriously, you had your chance. I mean,
Right, like
you
why
could've
the
done
fuck
it.
haven't they done it?
So now they probably will. I'm sure they'll crank something out real quick.
Right. Now, well,
Right
I
on
don't
the-
know
to
because
fucking
this one
ride on the
didn't.
coattails of
If this is
like,
getting 58% by fucking critics, who knows?
you know, critics don't know shit most of the time. I tend to disagree with the critics like probably 95% of the time.
I don't know. I'm like these days it just kind of makes no sense all the time.
A lot of movies that I really loved that critics fucking hate, and so I'm like, whatever. I don't. And movies that they love that I think are stupid. So
Right.
I'm like, I like to read user reviews and like people like us that review movies because I tend to agree more with what other, like normal people say about things versus somebody who's paid to sit there and watch a movie and write a fucking review about it when normally they don't like anything.
I pretty much just wanted to go in and have an evil Superman movie, and I got that. I just, I know I'm being picky a little bit about it, but I'm sure I'm not the pickiest about this movie. It's still really well acted. It did everything that it needed to do, guys. So if you're kind of on the fence and you're not sure, what other movie do you want to see? Do you want to go out to the theater? Because I think it's worth going to the theater to see.
Pikachu.
Yeah, like if it was like a 5, then I'd be like, nah, you don't need to go to the theater.
No, I think it's theater worthy for sure.
Yeah. So
It was good.
with that said, I think we're going to jump into our spoiler section and talk about some of our scenes, and what we thought went right, how we think it should have ended, all this other stuff. So if you haven't seen the movie and you don't want anything spoiled, please listen to this alert because we're getting into spoiler territory right
Fucking now.
Please do not listen to this if you have not seen the movie. That's right, please do not listen after this if you have not seen the movie. You will indefinitely ruin your experience. Thank you and have a nice apocalypse.
All right, guys. So now we're in the spoiler section. So don't fuck yourself on this one. And fuck yourself if you like, really, but don't fuck yourself on a movie watching experience. Let's talk about what we think they did right, and then we'll finish it up with what they could have done better afterwards. You know what I mean? So what do you think?
So the gore elements in this film are on point.
What is your favorite gore scene in this movie?
Oh, the unhinged jaw.
That was fucked up.
Oh my god,
Dude, I put myself in that guy's position
I
in my
literally
mind.
was like, I think I just came. Like when that happened. I'm sorry. It was
Jesus.
so good. It was so beautiful, and I loved it so much. It was this visceral fucking experience seeing that. It was so fucking cool, and I love shit like that.
Yeah, like where I thought it was funny when he was like, when Badger was like, sorry. When Badger fucking was...
His character's name in Mom is Baxter.
Okay, well,
Which is hilarious.
He was driving down the road. He was...
He's so funny.
So when he gets, like, what does the kid do? He stops the car. Oh, no, that's right. He picks up the back end of the car and then drops it face first onto the ground. And he wasn't wearing his seatbelt and he's supposedly drunk. And so they attributed to the fact that he was drunk. There's some stuff here I want to mention that I didn't like. Like, one, seeing his face hit the steering wheel and chop like that was pretty badass. And then watching him like grab his jaw and everything was like, but the thing that bothers me a little bit is before he even gets in the car and runs away, he like leaves his wife in the house and just drives off. Like that doesn't make any sense.
In a way, to me, it kind of does because I think he's trying to lure him away from her. Unconsciously.
Oh, maybe. I guess that could make sense.
Like, he's not like necessarily thinking about it, but he goes after that fucking kid.
Right.
So it's like, I feel like he's trying to make sure he gets the fuck out of that, like gets away from her.
Well, he sees him floating in front of the car and he's like, oh no,
he's like every one of us, if that ever happens, we would all literally go, nope, no. Like that would be me. That scene in particular, I'm sitting there going, no.
Well, here's the other thing I don't like. So the kid is obsessed. He sticks his finger on his face.
I liked it.
Which is good. I love that scene. That's fine. That's not the problem I have. But as a detective who's fucking investigating a fucking crime that literally took a picture of the bee symbol that has been showing up at every fucking crime scene, he just happens to see it in a photo. Like, it's like, wait a second, dude. Well, like the sheriff does, you know?
He's not the one taking the crime scene pictures, and that was that's in the background.
But you would think
that's the pictures of something in the foreground, and that is in the background. They didn't take a picture of that specifically, and that's the point of that. He sees that in the background of this evidence picture, and that's when he puts the 2 and 2 together.
I get it, but I'm just saying, like, that would be the talk of the whole fucking investigation. If they saw the same symbol, because the chick with the eye...
Like, I don't care what fucking podunk-ass town you live in. Yeah. Like, you got two things...
connecting here.
Right off the bat. Yeah. Like, that's a serial killer mark.
Yeah, exactly.
Like, pay attention, you know? Like,
which I thought was really cool that they did in the movie, because they kind of treat it like a serial killer, because he looks at those chickens at that one point in the movie.
It's awesome.
And he's like, and he's just kind of smiling, which is like really fucked up.
Super fucking sociopath.
And it's like, in his mind, that's his natural step to see if he can kill people, is to kill an animal first, and that is very natural.
Serial killer-esque.
Yeah, very serial killer.
That's one of the things that I like about it, is it does follow a serial killer pattern in a lot of ways.
Sure.
And it's cool. Like, I liked that story, because it's like...
But it also feels a little too stereotypical.
Yeah, but, I mean, there's not a lot of ways you can really go with this.
No, I'm just being picky for picky's sake.
He's going to make some type of signature, otherwise... they're never gonna figure out anything is going on.
Right. No, I like the dad and the son, Brandon and his father.
Where he tried to fucking look at the pretty flowers him.
Yeah.
He totally did it. Like, it was hilarious. He totally did the whole mice and men moment.
Right.
And I was like, you motherfucker. Like, you're not Gary Sinise. Fuck you.
Wait, I don't think he said that. Look at the pretty flowers.
He didn't, but that was the exact moment.
Yeah,
and it's the same. They did it in The Walking Dead too, with Carol, when she took the girl out and shot her in the fucking head or whatever.
That was. I just liked the whole camaraderie, or not camaraderie, but whatever. The tension between the dad.
Oh yeah, and you knew exactly what was gonna happen. Like, right. I mean, I did. I knew exactly what his plan was. He's like, he's going to take him out and fucking shoot him.
Do you think it was natural?
And it's not going to work.
Do you think it was natural enough of the father to just flip the script on his, like, the kid he raised for his whole life?
Yeah.
I mean,
if it's not his kid.
Yeah, right. But would you have been so close to something like that you knew landed out of the sky and was like some sort of alien or something?
He's more believable to me than
the father?
She is. His connection and his relationship is more believable to me than hers. Unless he has some type of weird, and that's, I think, what that dream sequence that he has about Tori finding
and her bleeding
Brandon,
out of her eyes and shit.
Yeah, I think that's a little bit of a symbolism as to why she has that type of connection too. Mm-hmm. It's stronger, because I don't feel, just maybe I don't have kids, so I could be wrong for all the moms out there that are listening to this that are like, nah, bitch, like, you have a weird connection, but like that, she didn't physically birth this child.
Well, there are mothers in history that would
Yeah.
cover for their serial
would kill for their
children. Like,
children.
yeah, like they would do things.
Literally
that,
kill for their kids, and I get that. But I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong because I think about it and like it doesn't matter whether you adopt a child or not. Like you're still gonna love it like it's your own. At least if you're a good person, you're gonna love it like it's your own. But you found this fucking weird ass kid in a spaceship in the middle of the forest.
Yeah, I know. And like they had to have had friends in this town, so they couldn't have just like skipped 9 months of her not being pregnant.
Well,
what did they
he
do?
was adopted. They said that. They said they adopted him from an agency.
Right, I know, but
that was the whole thing.
That's what I was thinking when I was watching the movie.
Yeah,
though.
they told him. I thought that too, and then they said that whole.
Yeah, I
bit,
forgot about
and
that.
I was
yeah.
like, oh, okay, good. I'm glad they kind of cleared that because it would be weird.
Yeah, because they don't like shy away from the fact that they told him that he was adopted.
Yeah, they're
right
not lying
away.
about like saying that that's their kid or whatever.
Right, yeah.
But I don't know. Like, I mean, you can't really like lean too much on things like that because if you do, then you're like me, where if something crashes out in the middle of my field, I'm not gonna fucking go look at it.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna bring a fucking baby that lands on the earth in a spaceship into my house.
I don't know.
Like,
Maybe it had
the
some
hell?
sort of power over them too. Who knows?
It's
like,
possible, and
yeah.
again, could make more sense out of that weird dream sequence that he has.
By the way, I forgot to mention one of my favorite gore scene is still the fucking one in the trailer.
The eye.
Which really sucks because it's like they showed that whole scene pretty much.
Almost, yeah.
I mean, they're really
They don't show it to
90%
fruition,
of
but-
the entire scene in that trailer.
Yeah.
Like,
But it's still good.
yeah, it's still good. Like, and the eye thing, oh my God, no!
It was great.
I hate stuff like that with the eye. I really had to look away. Christina was like, oh no.
Oh, I loved it so much.
I mean, it's
and then
fine.
I loved how they did the vision change.
That's seriously got to be one of the fucking... Yeah, they did that.
That was so cool.
That was a really cool element that they did in there because I was like, you just really feel what it's like
to be her.
to her. Yeah.
Yeah.
And that eye gouging scene, it's like the one of the greatest reverse eye gouging scenes that you've ever seen.
So good.
Which is so great because like that vision thing really was cool. I was thinking that too. I'm like, would you be able to see or would it just conk out like a TV?
It puts you in, depends on where it hits in your eye.
It's an organ, so I mean, yeah.
It depends on where it hits in your eye. Like
Yeah, it's not like some electrical tube.
Yeah, I feel like, and she can't really see out of that side. It's mostly just blood. And it's very, very blurry. And that's, to me, that feels pretty accurate, but
And fuck,
also adrenaline.
Fuck, I've had, like, I wear contacts, and, like, I know it's not the same, but I'm just saying, like, it's pretty painful when you get your contact flipped around and you're trying not to lose it.
Yeah.
And you're, like it hurts and you're trying to do stuff. So having a piece of glass come out of your eye and then also be fucking stalked and by a fucking Superman slasher,
Yeah.
like, fuck, dude, like, what the fuck? Like, that, like, that was a good scene. It was done well. I like that he ripped the doors off and like they never really tell you what happens with her, but later on they show her
So cool.
pinned to
cool.
the fucking wall next to his fucking little fucking spaceship
front of
under
his
the
little
house.
spaceship,
Yeah,
yeah.
and she's fucking nude, dude.
And she's disemboweled.
Yeah, she was disemboweled. She was nailed to the fucking wall, just bleeding.
It was very like ritualistic, like kind of like religious-esque. Like this teeters a lot onto demonology type feeling for
You
me.
think? I don't know.
I feel that way with the fucking weird chanting and all the red lights and had the possession. Like he gets basically like possessed.
A little bit. I can see what you're saying there, but I really think it was something
And that scene in particular, like it's just, I don't know.
I almost wonder, like, the lore for this, guys. Like, I was thinking while I was watching this, I was like, so essentially they're this race of aliens that are taking over different planets. And what they've probably done is they've taken, like, some DNA from one of the characters, some person on Earth, and mixed it with theirs and then created this like synthetic human that can take over the planet, and at a certain age
they wake it up.
they wake it up and it becomes like uncontrollable.
Yeah, I mean, it's definitely like an alien, but it still feels very like demon possession.
Yeah, because like he's like he hears the thing speaking in another language and he's having seizures and shit, and like it like causes his eyes to glow over, and then he like starts learning the words in the language. It's like take the world.
He's like instantly translating it. That was cool.
Yeah, it wasn't immediate, but like
No, it takes a while, but he starts with take,
and then it's
and then
take
it's
the
and then eventually it's world, and then he figures it all out and puts it together.
right, and that's when he flips. That's when
When the switch goes on entirely.
Right.
Yeah.
That whole fucking hand scene too, by the way, where he crushes
was
the
good.
girl's hand. I was like, I wonder if they're going to show it. And they did. They crushed her hand and then slammed it downwards so it broke the wrist.
It was awesome.
And I was like, ooh, God, Jesus Christ. And like, I understand like being a parent and like, going like, I didn't think he meant to break her hand. But like, I would be like, what the fuck, dude? Like, how did you break her hand?
I'm like more on the side of like the Erica's character,
The mom of the girl? Yeah.
Like, I want him in fucking handcuffs. Like, that's assault, brother. Like,
Right.
what the
Which
fuck?
the girl that his hand that he breaks is the girl that
He stalked.
he loved.
And he loves. Oh, holy shit! That scene is fucking.
That was creepy. Yeah. And she is not fucking on board with that shit at all.
Hell no.
He's all trying to do the fucking say anything out, like the boombox type thing, only through the
like-
fucking laptop.
Yeah, through the laptop. It's like very modern technology version of it. It's pretty funny.
He plays some
and then
old
he's
ass
like
track.
behind her curtain, creeping on her through the. Oh fuck, man, that was creepy as shit. That whole scene, I was just like, no.
Yeah, and then he leaves flowers on her fucking thing when she's got the broken hand, and she's just scared.
Oh, I would be shitting my pants. I get it.
Especially after what he did to her mom. Jesus Christ.
Well, he hadn't done it yet.
Right.
That's when he's like, I'm going to change it. Because she's like, my mom says I can't talk to you. And he's like, I'm going to change that. And I'm like, oh, God, he's going to kill her.
What did you think of his acting as like a good boy?
Okay, so I found him more convincing when he goes full on, like,
I thought it was a pretty different.
evil. He is two different people.
Yeah, I
He
was going to
plays two different
say.
people very, very well, which is awesome. Because he's a super young actor. So it's like...
He seemed believable
Cool.
for both.
He is very believable as both. I thought he was better and more believable as the evil character than the good boy character. But he's still good either way.
They do a good job of...
That little girl is fantastic too, by the way.
Yeah, I think they did a really good job of kind of explaining away why he has switched. I think it's because he's kind of a nervous, misunderstood kid.
Yeah, he's just a very intelligent, very awkward child.
And it reminds me of, you ever seen that movie, The Chronicle?
I don't think so.
It's about...
It sounds familiar, but
It's got that weird kid that's like in the movie.
lots of movies with weird kids.
No, I'm trying to think like what his acting is. He was in that fucking sci-fi movie they spent like $100 and $200 million on. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Holy crap, no.
Valerian.
Oh, yeah,
It's that guy. He was in Chronicle, and he did it's kind of like an Akira movie if you really think about it in a lot of ways, except I don't know. It reminds me of Akira.
Chronicle.
But yeah, like he's like, it's got the similar like, picked on kid who is like, fuck this. Why do I need to play their games and try to like feel, okay with them treating me the way they do when I'm superior to them? He even when he tells his aunt, who is also the
Guidance counselor.
he's like, well, I just feel that, why should I pretend to be someone I am not when I'm superior than everybody else? And she's like, you're really changing.
Weird.
Like rapidly. Do you believe that if you were a kid and you found out that you were from another race, that you would just like completely abandon your family, even if they did some fucked up shit to you?
I don't know. If they did fucked up shit to me, then yeah. But
I mean, it makes sense, but I mean, there's a lot of people who have stuck by their family for doing fucked up shit. You know what I mean?
But his parents didn't do fucked up shit to him.
Right.
So it's kind of like he just flips a switch right away, and that's just because that's who he is. So he just doesn't care. And I like the fact that they did that. They made him this like emotionless like robot essentially, which I liked.
Okay.
So like nobody's safe. And I like that feeling that like no one's safe. Like I didn't want it to turn into a fucking like psycho situation, with like the mom and son kind of like weird relationship.
Gotcha.
Norman Bates-ish like type of weird relationship. Like I didn't want that kind of a thing. Like I was satisfied with how it ended. I liked it.
I feel like in some of the scenes like where he's like about to kill somebody though, there was some good stuff there that they were doing, like with the aunt and the badger, her husband, the badger guy. I keep saying that, but
Noah,
yeah, sorry. But I feel like it could have done like some more unique things. Like I feel like there could have been those moments where you hear a noise and you turn to the right, and then you hear a noise and you turn to the left. and they could have shown like through his eyes behind a tree or up in the sky or whatever a little bit more, I think. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they could have really made it a little bit more tense with those situations. Like, even when they're fucking, when Noah's like driving down the road and he sees him flying, he could have thrown an animal at the fucking car. Or something like spelled some shit with blood all over the car, or whatever the fuck. Feel
made
like
it a little bit more of like a tense moment leading up to what ultimately happened.
It felt a little blunt to me. I'm being a little particular here, but I just feel like they could have made it a little bit more darker.
Yeah, but
because they showed that fucking bitch fucking under the fucking barn. That would have been seeing more shit like that would have made me happier.
Yeah, it's awesome. Well, that and like the jaw thing, like fucking awesome. And I loved when he kills the cop, the female cop.
Oh, that was badass.
Dope. That was so fucking cool. And I wanted more of
just
like
how
moments
she
like
died
that.
too.
How she died is amazing. Like,
God.
They had two moments of people gurgling and choking on their own blood, and I love that.
Yeah.
I sound horribly weird right now, but I love that. I love that sound, and that effect is so fucking cool. And man, they nailed that shit. It was awesome. I loved it so much.
He just kept punching her up against the ceiling.
Oh, yeah. It was crazy. And then he just throws her into the fucking window and the side of the wall. It's crazy.
I love how at that scene where the fucking sheriff and her show up at the house and they see the side of the house like fucking missing a chunk. And then she's like, he goes to the door, and then you see that in the trailer too, which fuck, man. God damn it. And then you see this like fucking, just see him dug into the ground, I guess.
He's like completely eviscerated.
Yeah, he just gets eviscerated.
And blood everywhere. And I'm like, okay.
And the fucking deputy who comes up, she's like, hey, she got man down. We got to get out of here. We got to get to cover. And it's like, yeah, there's really nothing you can do.
No. There is nothing. Like,
she calls the cops because like she doesn't know what else to do, but what are they going to do?
It's just so...
How are you going to stop a boy?
It's literally just other people for him to kill before he tries to kill her, essentially. Like, she's just delaying the inevitable.
Right.
Like, that's how it feels. And that's exactly what it was. But he's 12.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, he literally just realized what he like powers that he has and what he can do. Like, that's why I think I loved how it ends, because they leave it open for this to continue. And as he grows and gets older, his powers are going to get stronger. He's going to understand more of what to do, and he's going to get much more sadistic, and shit's going to get fucking weird.
Right.
And that's why I really hope that this continues, because holy balls, I can't wait to see what comes from this. It's going to end up very like Hannibal, like. And like the show, if you ever watched the show,
I don't think they're
Hannibal,
going to continue on with it. I don't think it's going to be successful enough.
I hope so. I really hope so. Like it'll be whether they make a shit ton of movie money or not on this. I want them to do something else.
It definitely screams for a sequel, because I wanted to see him go ham on a town.
They opened up this whole new universe, essentially. Like, they've created this new supervillain, superhero, whatever. Like, finish it out. You know what I mean? It just feels very like now it's just all left out in the open that there's this crazy kid or some type of creature, whatever the fuck is going on, just destroying whole buildings and shit in this one town of Brightburn.
I would like to know what
happened
outside
of that.
I would like to know what happened with the aliens that sent him there.
Yeah.
Or where he's
I want more from
or
that.
whatever, yeah.
It needs to continue on. I want more of like a completed story.
Wouldn't it be kind of interesting if they did a sequel and he's just this rage, and when the other beings come to collect him, he fights them, kind of like he did in the Superman 2 movie, or was it the first Superman with Christopher Reeves, where they had Zod? Wouldn't it be interesting if they like fought against each other and even he was more rage filled than they ever expected? And be kind of interesting if they had this war on Earth and he's just killing them as well. You know what I mean? Like, he's just like, I feel like that would be like this rage filled thing. And like, I don't know. It'd just be interesting to see where it would go.
Well, they have to eventually make some good character to rival this evil character. So they have like if they
Well,
continue
that would be a
on,
perfect
like,
solution, right?
Superman, like him to meet Superman. Is that what you're saying?
No. I don't mean good. I just mean like even the evil guys aren't as evil as him.
Oh,
so the
yeah, no.
evil guys that put him there to destroy the earth, come back to collect him and then fight him
And then they
because
all lose.
he's so rage-filled he doesn't even care who they are. He feels superior than they are. And so then they battle it out.
Yeah, they just created this insane monster.
Right. Just this crazy
Yeah,
hulking.
there's so many directions that they can go. So I really hope that they continue on it. Like they can do something like that. They can just continue on and make it more of this like horror slasher-esque kind of feel where he's not rivaled by anything and he just goes and kills a bunch of people and then somehow manages to disappear at the end and then it continues on, or they can somehow make this good person to somehow try and take him over
Yeah.
and kill him, somehow discover his kryptonite essentially, which is like pieces of his spaceship or
Right.
whatever the fuck
It
it
has
is.
to be metal from his planet or whatever.
Yeah.
What was I going to say? What did you think of how he killed his father?
Oh, I didn't like it.
Really?
I mean, it was cool, but it wasn't like gory enough for me. So I was
Well,
like,
yeah, because
eh.
he's melting his face.
Yeah,
pretty much. He
I
just
wanted it to
sticks
be
into
like
his eyes.
violent. And
I
it
like
wasn't.
seeing that it popped out the
That was
back of
cool.
his head. Yeah.
Bink. And I'm like, that's fun. I love when he shot him.
I think they
And he
should have
just, like-
showed his eyes and like the practical effects of it
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah, that's what I wanted. I wanted to see the after effect of it, and they didn't. They just cut to the next scene, and I was like, damn it.
Or like maybe he ripped his dad's head off after that and
Something.
threw it in the house.
Yeah, like maybe, and they could have done something with that, but maybe that just wasn't in their budget to do a practical effect.
Maybe.
at
I
that
mean,
point.
$6 million isn't really a lot.
It's not, and
for
they
what
did
they
a
did.
lot
Yeah.
with that $6 million. I was like really surprised that it was only $6 million budget because they did so much.
They really did.
They destroyed a
It's pretty
truck.
impressive.
They destroyed a house. They destroyed an airplane. Like, well, they had pieces of the airplane, but like they did a lot. And like
That's probably
a
why
lot.
they had to make it so quaint. You know what I mean?
probably. I mean, that is a very small budget for a big ass movie like this.
Right.
And there's a lot of effects and a lot of shit that had to go into what they did to create what they created.
Yeah. No, I agree. I mean, we've gotten so far in technology now, it's cheaper.
Yeah.
It's faster and cheaper to do than it ever has been before. Not to say that they can't do it wrong, because you can definitely do it wrong. But there's a lot of different like plugins and things now that you can do CGI and stuff that make it so much more easy. So I liked when he shot the lasers into his head, but I definitely agree that it needed to be more. Like, I wanted to see more of his head. It'd be cool if like when he went back to his mom's and he was like, he's no longer with us, and then he crushes the phone, he throws the head in through the window.
That would have been cool.
That would have been amazing. You know what I mean? Like, or just his body or something. Like, I guess I'm just a gore hound, and that's just, it's kind of a cream dream to think that, you're going to get an evil Superman movie in some way. So, like, if you're going to do it right.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think DC would ever do it. I don't think DC would ever make just a dark film like that where it would be so rated R that...
They don't do a lot
Yeah.
of like, it's very minimal.
I think this is the best we're really going to get as far as, like, gore and, like, that kind of thing, I guess.
Yeah, Marvel or DC is never going to do something like that.
Although I have seen that they got that new show coming out called The Boys, which is the same. It's being produced by Seth Rogen and the same people who were in Preacher.
Yeah.
It's all about superheroes, and this guy who the lead character of Preacher is actually it's not the same character, but same actor is playing this guy who's hunting down superheroes. So that may have some like dark shit in it, because they did show like this girl sitting on a guy's face riding it until his head popped.
Awesome.
And I was like, oh my God, dude.
Yeah. Like,
That's where I wanted it to go.
right. Like,
Not the sexual part.
I don't think this is DC or Marvel, but I could be wrong. It might be one of them. But Watchmen,
Sure.
like Watchmen's pretty, that pushes the envelope a lot.
Right.
More than most.
Sure.
But
I agree.
yeah, I don't know. I think we're entering into a new
Well,
venture here.
I think now
especially since like Avengers or whatever is like done now.
Right. Well, that's what I'm saying. Like, where do you go? Just like zombies. Like, right, you know what I mean? Like, we had our zombies in like the 80s and shit like that. And then it just kind of like hybrid makes a new type of zombie genre. And then it gets weirder and gorier and just stranger and romantic even at times. So who knows what we're going to see from the... I really compare the superhero genre to zombies now because we have so much.
Yeah.
It's just ridiculous. And it is weird that we never really had the budget or the type of technology to be able to do these kind of movies, the justice that they deserved. You know what I mean? So now we do. And they're pushing these other like superhero buttons now to kind of exhaust like different areas of like darker superheroes. And I think we'll see more of that going forward. But what did you think of the ending of this movie, though?
I liked it.
Yeah?
I thought it was cool. I knew he was going to kill her.
Well, I just didn't like the part where, like, I know that he was going to drop her from, I mean, when he flew her up, I love that they showed her face was all fucked up because he hits the ceiling.
Yeah, he busts through the ceiling.
Right, and she's like,
Yeah. She's basically dead anyway.
She got banked on the head. Elizabeth Bank got banked.
Yeah,
and but
all fucked up.
he drops her, which is kind of poetic in a way. And then he sees a plane come to his left, and he's like,
I can fix this.
Oh, I can make it look like the plane crashed into the house. No big deal. So he throws the plane into the fucking building, and he's just eating a cookie at the end. And it's like, that was all in the fucking trailer, and pretty much.
I don't even remember that. That's funny.
Yeah, they show him sitting on the fucking thing, and they show the wreckage of the plane and stuff. And they were trying to allude that he knocked some plane down. I'm like, really? You're just going to show the end of the movie in the trailer like that, huh?
Yeah, I didn't even realize that, but that's annoying.
I don't know. Look, I get it, but the concept of a fucking evil Superman movie, you don't need to push it that much in a trailer. It already sells itself. You know what I mean? Like, I feel like they showed too much in it, and this seems to be a problem.
Yeah.
In trailers these days. It's like, dude, what the fuck?
Yeah, they did show a lot. I will agree with you on that. I don't know. I felt like it wasn't as much.
I felt like it was too much.
Like they still kept enough out, but yeah, they did. It kind of kills the creep factor off a little bit.
Everybody in the theater stood up right away too at the very end for me.
Yeah,
like they didn't want
left.
to wait. I always check my phone and go to see if there's anything after the credits or anything like that. They have some mid-credits stuff where he's like flying around and news reports and shit like that.
What's his face?
The dude from The Walking Dead.
Rourke? Michael
Rooker.
Rooker? Yeah.
Which
Hilarious.
he's like part of the
big
family.
Conspiracy theorist, like fucking dude reporting. It's so funny.
Yeah,
I loved it.
They were trying to do him like I think he was supposed to be like Alex Jones.
Something like that. Yeah,
They did it in very Alex Jonesy way.
Yeah, it was funny.
But Michael Rooker is definitely
like, man, I wonder how much he got paid for that.
Rooker is definitely a part of the family. He's like part of the gun family.
Oh yeah,
you
because
know
he's
what I mean?
in Avengers.
He's in Avengers. He's in Guardians.
Guardians. Yeah, that's it.
And he's also in Slither, and he's also in
That's right.
The Office killing movie. What was it called? The something experiment. The
Belko experiment.
The Belko experiment. He's in that too.
I like him.
Yeah, he's a good actor. I definitely
all
like
when
him.
I saw him. I was like, oh fuck yeah.
But yeah, I don't know. I do like this movie a lot. I definitely think the fact that we have some small gripes with it, we're more willing to give it a fair score, probably because we like seeing more of this stuff. And I feel like if this movie doesn't do well, then we probably won't see more. We probably will inevitably, but not as soon as it would have been if this movie would have if this movie would have been a #1 hit at the box office, we would have seen a lot more darker fucking shit like this.
Right.
And I don't think we're going to see that now. I think we'll see some darker stuff, but it's going to trickle in carefully to not go too far.
Right.
You know, because this one didn't do that well. And there's a lot of reasons why I think people might not like this movie. And yeah, and I think a lot of it is going to be that some people, it's kind of typical to them. You know what I mean? But it's still something I wanted to see. So I'm glad it's out.
Yeah.
So do you guys think there's going to be a sequel? Do you think that we'll see a sequel of this afterwards? I think if we do, it'll be like 5 years from now.
Yeah, it's not going to be soon.
Yeah, we'll get like an announcement. They're like, oh, we're bringing it back. Just like they're talking about, like Keanu Reeves is like talking about doing a Constantine 2. He wants to go back to that character. And I personally liked the first Constantine. It wasn't amazing, but there was some really cool stuff in there, that is,
Yeah.
I really, like, especially from the comics and everything. I believe it was Hellblazer. So, but I don't know. I have a feeling that we're probably not going to see one. I mean, maybe if it makes 4 times its budget, which I'm sure it could probably do, we might see another one, but I don't think they're going to they'll probably be like, well, okay, we'll give you $9 million this time instead of 6.
Yeah.
See what you could do with that. But I feel like a movie, the sequel for this kind of movie needs to have at least a 20 mil. And I don't think they're going to get that.
Yeah. Who knows?
So, I don't know. What do you guys think? Did we make some points about some stuff? What I was going to say is what I think they should have done. I wanted to mention this is what I think they should have done with the mom instead of just dropping her from the sky, which is kind of lame. I feel like they could have like kept her like hostage by him.
Yeah, that'd been kind of cool.
And he brings her like body offerings or something weird. You know what I mean? Where he's just snapped. And like there's a part of him that doesn't want to kill her because of some weird reason. And then like they could have dragged it on. But I mean, I guess it just, it's good that she's dead. I don't know.
Yeah, that's why it would create this weird like Norman Bates-ish relationship, which I don't like necessarily. I think I can see it. It would be kind of cool, but at the same time, I like the fact that he just killed her because he's disassociated from literally everything and everyone. He just doesn't care.
Yeah, but it was kind of a lame kill, right? They didn't even see her hit the ground.
That was the nicest kill,
right,
of all of them. That's for sure.
Yeah, exactly.
But I mean, that's still him showing some type of respect in a way of that being the way he's going to kill her. It's the nicest of any way that he could kill someone. I guess he has a modicum of respect, but some type of like remorse in a way. But it seems kind of weird that like somebody would just overnight just suddenly have no empathy towards something. Yeah, doesn't that seem weird a little? He's also not a person, so I guess. So, I don't know. There's some questions I have. What do you guys think of this whole fucking thing? I would love to hear what you guys thought of the movie. Do you agree with some of the things that we're saying and how you felt like it needed more, but you really liked it still? Because I think you can have that. You can really enjoy the movie, but want more from it and be a little disappointed by it not surprising you with anything. So, I don't know. You have anything else to add to that? I don't think so. No? I think we've pretty much hit every point possible. Guys, I think that's it for this week. I don't even know what we're going to do next week. I have a few ideas, but we'll probably have to let you guys know during the midweek of this week to kind of let you know what's going on. We'll figure it out, but I didn't think about it until just now. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed what we did today and talked about Brightburn. Let us know what you think, and we'll be back next week for a brand new episode, probably 2 movies, so we'll let you know in the middle of the week. But I hope you guys have a great rest of the week, and as always, stay weird, monsters.